What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a story time video, so to let you know how my last week went. I did mean to get this video uploaded yesterday, Monday, whichever, and yeah, my phone was full and wouldn't let me export, and so I'm going to try and make this video shorter, as well as I've cleared some space on my phone. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so Monday, where the week started, and will start because it's where my calendar starts, and it's where my calendar starts. So Monday was also the first day of a week. My particular day started off with some bike travels. Long story short, I thought I was running a little bit late, so decided to make up some time by riding my bike to school rather than walking. It is only a 10-minute walk, but riding's going to be faster. And as I entered the EQ, my bike chain fell off the back gears and wedged itself completely between the gears and the bike frame. So a little space in there that it fit in, just because it was wedged in nice and tight, which we didn't love. I'm going to be honest, we didn't love that, but we dealt with that quickly. Our hands became like, I've shaved recently, but it was as dark as my beard was. Yeah, you could tell it was grease, but it was the same shade of like dark. So I had to use a couple of essentially Pine Clean surface wipes to get the grime off my hand, enough to be able to take a rat test, because we just love scratching our brain with a Q-tip, don't we? But it's fine. We do it because we don't want anyone else at school to get sick because of us. We have somewhat of a moral compass to not want that. Also, I doubt people are going to want to collaborate with the person that gave them COVID. Just saying. Then, after that, got my student card, as well as some pins, just to sort of let people know at a glance my identity. Things like, preferred pronouns. I got a neurodivergent one because I'm still like 80% convinced that I have ADHD. I've just got to get the test to confirm that, and hopefully give me some coping strategies, as well as like a little bit of awareness of where it might creep into how I interact with people. And then went into the library and had my, and I also got a pride flag pin, because obviously. And then went into the library, had my card activated so I can borrow books, and so that I can print and photocopy things. Kind of essential if you're going to be doing production work and everyone wants a copy of the script, for instance. After that, went up into a classroom, because of COVID they had to split our group of 100 people into two smaller groups, and so half of us were in a classroom Zoom calling the other half so that we could all get the same stuff, because if it weren't for COVID we would have all been in the same room. So yeah, there was that, and that was just sort of like, we got a welcome to country from our elderly residents, who, and I just know this from personal experience, also gave the welcome to country last year at the Mardi Gras Pride March on Oxford Street. So she's quite involved in not just the Indigenous community, but also in a great number of other marginalised communities as well. She's quite a big advocate for representation like that, which we love. After that, we basically got run through like the code of conduct, the student handbook, the school's core values, all that sort of stuff. You know, sort of the fine print of you know, like, yeah. I mean, the fine print's kind of the best way to put it, because there's essentially like, you know, the terms and conditions of you remaining a student. You think of being a student as like a subscription service. That's the terms and conditions of use, essentially. Then after the break, I'm trying to do this all off memory. I do have a timetable floating around somewhere. After our lunch break, we had a little workshop on making sure that everyone had access to their Outlook timetable online, as well as being able to access like the student handbook and all of our assessments and assignments and all of the online stuff that we have to do. Like today is actually a Zoom day. I'm actually on a lunch break at the moment. Just trying to make this quick. But we went through all of that, and that was sort of the first time I'd actually had to pull my laptop out to use it at the school. And so that was also when I connected to the school internet, which was nice. It was the first time in a month that I'd actually had internet access on my laptop. So that was fun. Then we had a lunch break after that, which was catered for, which was amazing. The food was incredible. Kind of makes me wish that AFTRS had that kind of catering every day, but the course fee is already high enough. We don't need to be paying for that as well. Then after the break, like after lunch, we again split up into halves. I don't know if they were the same halves as the morning, but we were split up into half as well. And one half did a session in the library, and we learned all about the library staff, the student centre, which is like right adjacent to it. They've actually got a door directly into the library, yeah, we just sort of got like a big rundown of all of the student services, if you will, like the library, the counsellor, you know, how to go about getting extensions if we need them, that sort of thing. And then we swapped after that with the other group. They did what we were doing, and we went and did what they had done, which was a campus tour where we got to see the production studios, the workshop for making props, the prop storage for things like furniture and what was in the other prop store? Like plates, bowls, like all of the things except for the walls that you would want to have on a set, as far as what you're shooting is concerned, because the walls they make as flats down in the workshop. So yeah, you can literally build just an entire set at AFTRS, which is really cool, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be getting my hands onto as soon as we're allowed to just like jump down there and get involved. It's going to be like the first thing I do is go and see how production design works, because it's not something I know how it operates, and it's something I want to know how it operates if I want to be as effective as a director as I want to be. And then we had a little afternoon break, and at the end of the day, just to sort of finish it off with our last hour, we had like a camera operations 101 little workshop thing, which was kind of cool. Tuesday was then most of the day. There were two bits that sort of intersected this just to help break up the monotony of the day a little bit. But the rest of the day was essentially just doing a full like production 101. So we'd already done camera operations, we knew how the cameras worked. So throughout the Tuesday we had to make a 60 to 90 second short film based around one of these school values, which we learnt Monday morning. And then, yeah, so that was sort of broken up into like a time where we would shoot it and a time where we got like the Premiere Pro 101 walkthrough, which, having not been a Premiere Pro user before, I was like, I'm gonna kind of need to pay a little bit of attention here, but having also been an iMovie and a Final Cut Pro user, Final Cut Pro being the one I've used most often on an actual computer screen other than just my phone, was also one where I was like, I have transferable skills, so it's really just like finding out where do I go to do this thing that I know I can do in an editing software. And yeah, and I ended up finishing mine. I like within the day. The only thing I had to do once I had left that day was I know I've got a friend who has a couple of songs on SoundCloud, and he hasn't uploaded any in quite a while, but when he was composing them and uploading them, we were actually friends through doing our Cert 3 in 2011, 2012, and at that time he was like, yeah, no, if you ever want music for your productions, feel free to use these. So I went and I got my favourite one, downloaded it onto my laptop, and it's now the soundtrack underneath. Mine's a silent film, just using one of his soundtracks, which is really cool. And then to break up the day, we'd had our Director of First Nations and Outreach gave us a welcome to country and a little bit about why story is so important, with obviously a specific focus on First Nations stories, which sort of by proxy led into a whole spiel about representation and diversity within storytelling, in like a visual medium. And then the other thing was a group exercise where our group did charades in the prop room, where we drew a character or a personality out of a hat, and we got to go into the costuming room and we got to sort of pretend to be the character using costuming and props. I've just realised that I forgot to mention the other places we visited on the campus tour: editing suites, the costume store, obviously, the like hair and makeup rooms, the changing rooms. You know, got shown where the classrooms were that we were going to be using, and yeah, just sort of got like a full, and the viewing theatres. They've got like an actual cinema with a projection booth and everything there, so that we can actually watch student films as well. But no, so that was Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday was then an online day, and I was expecting to get my modem, which is sitting here, working now, but that was not what it initially did. I got to plug it in for like the first half hour. It was like, yep, cool, we're all working. So I got to set my laptop up, I got to set my PlayStation up, my phone connected, and then it cut out. And having called up the school that morning and being like, I know I said that I'd be in at the library, so I could attend these classes, but I'm expecting my modem today. I don't know when, so I won't be in because I've got to be here to collect it, so that I can have it set up before I need it, sort of thing. And then, yeah, they didn't call, didn't message, they just, I would assume, knocked at the front door, waited 2 seconds and then left, because I didn't hear in my room, which, you know, I am halfway up the building on the first floor, so I wasn't expecting to hear them just knocking on the door either. So I eventually had checked my little tracking app thing, saw that it was attempted to be delivered, you know, at like 9:30 in the morning, this being at the time about 11, and then so I called them. I was like, is it possible to get it delivered this afternoon, because this is my situation, and if they did knock, which I'm assuming they did, I wouldn't have heard it anyway. Like, I need them to give me a text or a call so that I can meet them down at the door. No, we can't do that this afternoon, but tomorrow morning, same time, just be down by the front door, or waiting outside or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. And then proceeded to use the rest of the day to go and buy groceries, because I had been paid on the Tuesday. So I went to get groceries. And then that was pretty much it, I believe. That's right, I remember I went for groceries now. Yes, that was predominantly it. So I came back, I emptied, I put all my food away where it was supposed to go, a fridge or cupboard space, and then I set up my Opal card, which I should get. I should have that today at the earliest. If not, it'll be tomorrow or Friday. So after I've done all of my things, I'm gonna go and double check that I haven't got a letter from Transport New South Wales with my concession card. Because that'll be fun. I'll be able to, it's got $20 on it already, so I'll be able to just catch that. I'll be able to catch the, if I have got that today or tomorrow, I'll just be able to catch the tram tomorrow. Friday to class, which will be cool. I won't have to bother out walking. I can just suss out how long the trip on the tram is and how frequently it comes past, so that I know how late I can leave it to sprint up one block to the tram stop. But no, I'd set that up, and then I believe I watched Aladdin, because something that the library staff had told us on the Monday, was that they have a little competition. There's a couple of little competitions they do. One is like a watch list, and a related one is a little themed display in the library itself, which they're both around like the same themes. At the moment it's about gold. So I watched Aladdin because the Cave of Wonders is a cave full of gold, and it's on the list. Last night I watched Golden Compass. Rather, I put Golden Compass on, is more accurate. I kind of fell asleep during it. I've got to rewatch it this afternoon. Because, yeah, I am interested in it, but I don't know. I always seem to put it on at the worst time. Something either comes up or I fall asleep. And I don't think it's the movie's fault. It's just bad timing on my behalf. Then Thursday, there wasn't really anything to do that morning. The sessions were being recorded. There was really only 2 sessions anyway that morning. The finish date for Thursday was going to be like 11:15 a.m. So I just had myself a little sleep in, and then double checked my Star Trek thing to see, like I took the time, went downstairs, waited for a little while, and then it was like, well, it's now like 10, they're obviously not coming. Check the Star Trek thing, and even though I checked it at 11 the day before, it was only on the Thursday that I saw that it had been left at a post office at 11:15, which means that they had updated it after the fact. And then, so I was like, okay, well that post office is only like a block and a half away. I'll go get my modem. And then, yeah, like I said, plugged it in, only worked for a half hour to get things connected, and then it quit out on me, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Called my dad to see if he could figure out what was going on with it that night, because I just sort of I was like, well, if I don't have internet, I might as well go for a walk, and I ended up going up to the Westfield at Bondi Junction. I got myself some crystals for my damp rib, which I've needed. I don't know if it's been the weather or whatnot, but at least the last 2 days, my window gets condensation on the inside of it, as well as, thankfully, my parents are visiting this weekend. Dad's bringing a ladder with him so I can actually clean the mold that's starting to go. It's just like the surface mold, like on the top of the paint, and it comes off nice and easy with a wipe. But he's going to bring some vinegar. We're going to put some hot water and vinegar together, and I'm going to actually just like wipe the walls down and a bit of the skirting on the roof, because there's some pretty horrible mold going on up there. So yes, the damper is helpful, because I think without it, that would be a lot worse than it is. And I also got a new refill for my air freshener. And so that was Thursday. It was pretty much it. Friday was a day where we just caught up on sleep, you know. We sort of napped on and off throughout the day. Finally woke up at like 3 because we decided that we were going to get ready for drinks at 5. And so I sort of took an hour and a half to sort of, you know, have a little something to eat, went and had a shower, because I, for whatever reason, can't shower while on an empty stomach. It just makes me feel ick and gross, and then I don't feel like eating for the rest of the day. So we eat first, because otherwise, for whatever reason, our body's just like, no. And then, yeah, got dressed, put on some nice clothes, went out, had some social drinks with third years, as well as a few first years. That night got a bit wild towards the end, so we started at 5, and I think the rest of the first years ended up going until like 12 or later. And then, what happened? So that was Friday. Yeah. So so from 5 to sort of 7 was at the Bavarian in the entertainment quarter. From 7 to about 8, we weren't there for very long. I was at the Watsons, which is also in the entertainment quarter, and then it was decided that we were going to go to Misfits in Redfern, where one of our cohort works, because they promised free drinks, and a couple of the guys were like, "You had me at free drinks." So we all caught Ubers over, and yeah, had a few drinks there. There was, it being Mardi Gras weekend, there was a little drag queen show, which was actually really enjoyable. It was like a little dance competition. It was really fun. The cohort was like, who do we send in for this dance competition? And it ended up not being me. God. I'm comfortable talking to you guys, because let's be completely honest, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to my phone, while essentially staring at a mirror, the mirror being the phone screen. So that's fine, and I'm happy to upload those onto YouTube, because, you know, I like making visual content. It's the whole reason I am now in afters. But we still don't we still aren't 100% comfortable with live performance, you know? Not a thing we're fully comfortable with yet. Yet being the operative word. I did tell the same person, because it came down to myself and the person that ended up entering, and I did tell them afterwards that, look, next time someone needs to volunteer for a dance competition, and people are like, hey, you've got to go in, I will step up and volunteer. I owe it to them now. So, and I've given my word, so I really can't back out from it. I ended up leaving at 11. but I knew that particular club closed at 12. I don't know if they went somewhere afterwards or what. But then Saturday was Mardi Gras. It had been a relatively nice day for weather, so after walking myself down to Dendy in Newtown Cinema and putting in an expression of interest, I then came home, did a lot of laundry and hung it out because we had a day of reprieve and almost some actual like breaking through the clouds sunlight on Saturday where I could actually do my laundry and hang it out. And then while it was drying on the line, I went up to, I literally just walked up the street and then up a block to, I think it's Flinders Square. It's something square and I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Oxford Street, on Oxford and Flinders Street. So and I know it's not Oxford Square, so I'm gonna say Flinders Square and just hope that that's right. But that's where the Mardi Gras March was starting, and they have some keynote speakers before the march, and it was really enjoyable, really good time. And then sort of on the way home, I went past. No, I didn't. That's a lie. No, I went to a Coles and bought myself some frozen dinners. Because I know I think they're called super pulses or something like that. You can just put in the fridge. You don't need them in the freezer. You can just microwave them from chilled. And so they're kind of perfect for me because I really only have a bar fridge. And the freezer pocket of that at the moment is predominantly being taken up by my vegetables, by my frozen vegetables. So having ones that I can just microwave from chilled is very helpful. As well as they taste good and they're kind of healthy, like they're pretty low calorie as well. So it's a win-win-win-win-win. So I picked up a couple of those and noticed that there was a Telstra store there. Like, okay, that reminds me, my Wi-Fi's not working. So I called my dad, had some, like what do I need to do? Is there something I haven't done? Like, what's going on? Try resetting it, try moving it around the room, try, all these things, turning it off and on again, all these things, still not working. So it's like, okay, cool, well, I'll have to go down, when Telstra's open and talk to somebody, which ended up being Sunday's job. And like I said, it's now working, because what ended up happening was I went down there, they had the right address, they saw that the address was able to get 5G, and they saw my photo of my modem not working that I'd shown them, and I'm like, this is a puzzle, let me figure it out. They obviously then called someone in like tech support or something for Telstra, who suddenly realised that we haven't activated that yet, because I get a phone call from my dad about an hour later, like, hey, because obviously I called my dad, they're like, hey, this is what the guy in the store said, because dad's the one paying for it, so I thought, better let the person paying for it know so that he has an idea of the sorts of things he may have to follow up with. And then, about an hour later, he gets a message. I don't remember if he said it was a text or an email, but he got a message and he rang me to let me know that my service had just been activated. So I turned my thing off, waited a minute, turned it back, like I fully unplugged the thing and everything, put it back in, and my internet has not stopped working since. So when they sent it out to me on Wednesday, they didn't activate my account. But it's working now, which is good. And yeah, and that's sort of been my week. Yesterday was first official day of classes. Yesterday was Tuesday. It was the first official day of classes, which was really cool. I got to meet all of the people in my class specifically, and I'm definitely now in the space of like actually making friends. There's another Marvel aficionado in the class who I just know I'm gonna get along with because they're another Marvel aficionado. But there's also other people who are like, there's a whole bunch of people who want to be writers and directors. There's a whole bunch of people that I can like, you know, brainstorm script ideas with. There's a whole bunch of other people who are interested in similar films to me, or who have a shared experience, you know, being LGBT, or coming from, you know, a regional community, or whatever it might be. So definitely now into the space of making friends, which is really cool. And then, yeah, like I said, today is entirely online, so I'm gonna leave my story time there. I'm gonna go and eat my lunch before it gets too much colder. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow. Since this video is late, I will be back tomorrow with another video. But yes, I hope you enjoyed my storytime video. If you did, please give this video a big thumb up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button wherever it is on your device, and while you're there, just go and ring that bell for me, turn on those push notifications so you can be kept up to date with when I upload new videos. If there's a particular video you would like to see me make, let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, guys, keep your head screwed on.